5. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's another episode of Venture Maidens. Oh my god, it's been so long since we recorded, but I am thrilled to be back here recording episode 43. Damn, kids, that's a good number. How we all feeling? We're all back together. We're all like, what's up, you guys?
I'm so excited to be here and so happy to see you all again. I missed you all.
We missed you.
We missed you, yeah.
You
Things
honestly,
were hard. Things were scary without you.
not having you in a
Was
Heckna one shot.
Definitely frightening.
Oh my! Even Celeste was having to pull some weight with the puns. I never thought I'd
I was
see
there channeling you, Sage. Luckily, it was a Halloween episode, so I was there to enjoy that horror. I could justify it, of all the puns. But
Yeah, it was a good time. The gang managed to survive,
barely.
though with a handicap, of course. We missed you dearly, and we made some very unusual animal friends.
as one would expect in any quality Venture Maidens game.
Hell yeah, but we're back. We're back now with the main story, recording some hot, fresh episodes for you all. So yeah, we're gonna dig into that in just a few moments here, but before we do, of course, I want to say, hey, if you're new, welcome. We're the Venture Maidens, a D&D 5th edition actual play stream that converts to a podcast. This is a very adult-themed stream, so you can expect general themes of, graphic, fantasy, violence. In general, we keep a body horror content warning up just in case. Don't anticipate any other specific content warnings for this episode, but you never know, so just keep your eye on chat in the podcast show notes, just in case something else comes up. Other than that, yeah, I think that's it. So hey everybody, my name is Celeste Conowitch, and tonight I will be your Dungeon Master.
Hello, I'm Katie, and I'm going to be playing Luveri Sath, your Drow Rogue.
Hello, I'm Nassim, and I'm playing your half-orc fighter and budding druid, Bitonia Silvertail.
And I'm Sage, and tonight I will be Aoife Flannery, your bangin' bard.
Also, podcast listeners, you can't see it, but there's a hot new profile picture for Aoife right now. Her full fayness is on display, so we've been seeing some changes in this party, but, we'll talk about that very, very shortly, because we're going to do that sweet, sweet recap in a bit. But before we do that, Tony, last time, you officially, achieved your heroic destiny. You have advanced the symbiosis destiny and gotten a sick new feature because of your budding relationship with Arrow. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what that is, what you got now? Yeah, Venture Maiden's book. Wow, look at that reference.
Straight from the Venture Maiden's
hell
campaign
yeah.
guide. Okay, our tier 2 features. We gain the benefit of patronage.
Oh, wait. Sorry. I think
Your
that's
skills have attracted
that's the
enough.
one. Did I send you to the wrong page again? I think I did. There it is.
Oh, found it.
55.
Tier 2. Okay. Okay, instead we get to call a friend.
That sounds right.
Which I think you know where that's going. Essentially, I get to call my new best friend, Arrow. You have established enough trust with your chosen creature type that you can call on them for aid. During a long rest, you can attempt to contact creatures of your type to travel to you. The way you contact... Wait, does that mean that I can just call for horses?
For alicorns, yes.
Oh, alicorns.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's why it was a super good thing that you found out how to make more alicorns in the last few episodes. Because also your tier 4 feature as a preview, you summon basically a fucking army of alicorns. So
yeah, that's what's about to happen. It might be a mystical connection. You may have left trail signs to follow. Perhaps the creatures sense your need, or maybe you send a physical message to a nearby settlement. Whatever the specific circumstances, at the end of a long rest, one creature or small group of creatures, at your DM's discretion, arrive if they are physically capable of doing so. Shall I read the whole thing? There's actually quite a bit of
no,
to this.
that's pretty
I
much
can
the
keep going.
basics of it. There's but after that, it's just basically some qualifiers, right? So this is still at this level, you can't necessarily have the creature show up and fight for you, risk its life. So more the kind of help it will be willing to do, it could cast spells on your behalf or help you travel from place to place. Basically, you can ask this creature to show up and do something that isn't going to put it in direct harm at this stage. to like carry messages for you, have you fly somewhere, you know, like cast those healing spells alicorns can do, that kind of business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now you officially do that. So anytime during a long rest, as part of a long rest, you can call Arrow or another alicorn to, you know, help you. So you have a summon now.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's super cool. So that means officially all of us have achieved tier 2 of our heroic destinies. So, I mean, as you can imagine, this act has 4 act structures, or this campaign. So next season, in Act 3, in fall, we can look forward to telling those stories that will unlock tier 3. But for now, you all have done it. And so as summer is drawing near to the end, you're fully stocked up with cool features. But yeah, talking about that and dramatic nonsense, let's travel back into our memory banks to give the people a sweet, sweet recap. What the hell happened last time on Favor?
I'm gonna go ahead and vote Sage tell us, because you're so good at recapping and we've missed your
you got
sweet
Sage
voice.
tell us a story.
Oh, bless you. Well, thankfully, last session, I mean, before our little step out of time for our Halloween fun times, we were basically just having our big combat with Lou and Aoife coming to Tony's rescue, basically. Well, not rescue, but, you know, intervening on her behalf, because Tony and Gidget found their way into the central island of the Titan stronghold, the Hanging Gardens of Tethys. And they had just been confronted by this skull with roses and vines all tangled throughout it. And it did not look like it was going to give up a rose very willingly. Mm-hmm. So,
hence the heroic quest to retrieve it. Yes, yes.
Indeed, we had to do valiant combat, and so the roses were releasing, or whatever this creature officially
a rose golem
would release. Rose golem would release spores that made people sleepy, and so poor Rook and Gidget
so bad.
Drifted off to sweet slumber.
Saves. It was so bad.
And Gidget's pig, Albert Swinestein, kept them safe, and Lou and Eva stepped out of the prison that Lou was held in of Jada's constructed dream, and the 3 of them were able to take on this creature and fell it, and we were able to get a couple of 2 rose blooms from this creature, thus completing our mission on behalf of Reynard.
Hell yeah. Yeah, last time was a big old fight, so luckily y'all banded together and took this thing down. So yeah, that is exactly where we are picking up. So last time you had all, fought, met back, literally stepped through dreams to come back together into this hanging garden. Aoife, using your new dream powers, you had teleported Lou basically with you. You'd stepped out of the dream to help Tony and Gidget and Rook in this fight against this dormant golem thing that had been keeping all of these plants alive in this greenhouse for who knows how long. You had managed to defeat it, and I'm gonna say, after that big fight, obviously you had connected with Gidget, some introductions had been made, you were able to wake up Rook, and Gidget, everyone, was back, and figured out a safe way to transport these 2 gigantic roses, which, as a reminder, are each about the size of, a human chest, so quite large. These 2 blooms, and I know, Lou, you were interested in making sure you took some of, the roots and, thorns, so you could, maybe get a clipping to propagate as well, right? Yeah.
Yep. Gotta clip that
so I
shit.
think, Tony, with your, herbalist knowledge, no worries, you can absolutely get, as much as you need to be able to do this, and remove both the blooms without causing any damage to either of them. I don't think you even need to check. You're a pro. Whatever. Though you've never worked with flowers at this scale, I would assume. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, and especially not roses, too, because, roses are very fussy, and your people, your people, weren't from anywhere that would support that kind of, huge open grasslands. Not exactly great for roses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, flowers in general, she doesn't have a lot of
the tiny little wildflowers, at most,
but,
these, big blooms, this is, the the luxury kind of shit you would see, you know, in Eldrin estates, right? This is pretty wild. But yeah, so you are able to get out of there. Gidget, you know, calls her gnome crew. Basically, you are all able to kind of like backtrack through these gardens to make it back safely to that entrance. Thank goodness you had taken out that rock guardian earlier, so there really aren't any obstacles to stand in your way. And unless you all have anything you want to say or, like, you know, note for Gidget, I think Gidget's play is she's going to take the Animar Animalias, that book you found, about, like, literally creating alicorns. She's going to take those clay samples, some of those tools you found, and then basically head off to her friend that she implied she knew someone who could potentially use this magic, to maybe get things going. And then I think Arrow will also express interest, you know, once you all are back literally on the ground, probably going with Gidget to see if there's anything he can do to help. So is there anything in particular you wanted to, like, say to Gidget or Arrow, or any kind of scene you want to have, or do we just want to, like, transition, you know, until you're all back on ground?
I'm just sure I said something to Arrow about, like, let me know how things go if you need help with anything while you guys are doing this research. I'd love to know what you guys discovered.
And he would communicate to, like, thank you again for everything, and of course I feel and I know this has brought us together. Our destinies are tied now and forever, and if there's anything you need, and he puts his, you know, forehead against yours, just call.
Oh, yes, she puts her forehead against his, presses in a little bit more, gives him some good pats. I will. I'll see you soon.
And so the gnome ship, you know, and Arrow kind of fly you all down back, like, drop you off at the chicken hut, which was, you know, like, craning its big window eyes up the whole time as you're, like, coming down from this horrifically high place. But yeah, so from there, I figure, because we do have our date with the Blossom Court Sovereign, that is kind of the next big, like, main plot thing we have here. But I know there were a bunch of different threads or things we wanted to wrap up, considering all the stuff we have learned in the last 2 episodes or so. So if y'all are amenable to it, I was thinking maybe, like, we'll do about a week of time. Like, you all can decide what you want to pursue, if there's anything you want to wrap up or downtime you want to do. And then at the end of that week, you are, like, the Serena's emissary is going to show up at a location that you all pick, and we are going to advance that plot. So this episode is kind of up to you guys, like, what you want to do, what kind of order you want to pursue. So why don't you all talk about it, and, you know, what are the things you all want to pursue?
I think so. It's kind of like a recap of, like, where we are, what we've seen, what we're doing, and kind of like our big questions that we have. Yeah. So the promises that we got from this arena was to send an emissary of the Eldrin Court to go and do this talk.
With all of you.
Part of that, and also, with all of us, establishing a ceasefire between the Eldrin Empire and the Fey Blossom Court. And while these talks are ongoing, and while we're negotiating out some deals, and then to collect and share intelligence on the whereabouts of the Krellin, since we really don't have any clue about what's up with them. Some kind of our big things that we have, our big questions are, we still have no idea what Hecate is up to, or, like, what her endgame is. We don't know who is on Hecate's side, or maybe what leverage she's used to broker some alliances to amass the power that we've seen her kind of seen secondhand. And we don't know who is behind the attacks on this arena, which is, you know, definitely one thing Aoife wants to figure out for sure. And then so we need to give our items, or, you know, complete our deals with Reynard after trading off of our big favor. And one thing that Aoife wants to work on kind of in the future, probably not during this week of downtime, but is trying to set a trap using the Enigma Codex against Hecate, because since she can read everything that's ever written ever, to see if we write a letter to be like, oh, we're meeting here and we're planning on doing this, and maybe we can lure some agents and then capture them and interrogate them.
Yeah, see how close attention
so that's
she's
kind of like
really paying to what's going on there, for sure. Cool.
Yeah,
and I know, I mean, Lou, like, you just got out of this dream, you talked to Jada for the first time, learned a bunch of shit. I'm sure, is there anything you in particular wanted to do or action, considering all you know now?
Yeah, I mean, from the letter that we had at one of the, I think it was the last episode we did, she's definitely, after once again getting fucked over by magic, deciding that she wants to kind of start the journey on getting a handle on it so that she can start to fight back with the same kind of force and have a better understanding of it. She also had sent a letter to Frida, not only asking for tuition.
Please, so I can go to wizard school. Thank you.
I'll make you proud. But also to keep an eye on Cassie, both for protection and to see if she can get any more intel on like what the fuck her backstory is, because after trying to talk to her, like, she doesn't feel like she can't trust her, but it does seem like there's something that she's holding back, whether it's of her own volition or not, she's not sure. So cautiously dipping a toe into those waters.
Sure. Yeah, so spinning up your wizard horses. Yeah, for sure.
I want my number one goal, if we have a week of downtime, is I want to use downtime activities to make some fucking money. I need another patron. And what I would like to do, because of this situation we found ourselves in and the situations we have found ourselves in the past, is to see, after hearing about Tony's whole adventure where she met Lorenzo and Beasley, if they have like a courtier contact with the forest court, so we can start working our way on buttering up the next court.
Nice.
I would love to be feeding them and have them be my patron.
Hell yeah. And then Tony, obviously you just completed this big thing, like this whole favor, that was like why you were in the Hanging Garden. So obviously going to resolve that with Reynard, and the settling other favors here. But is there anything else in particular you wanted to make sure we got to before heading to the Blossom?
Mostly just upgrading Tony's armor before we get into like the heat of another big battle, because like I said before, I pick fashion over functionality, and Tony doesn't do that, but I wasn't thinking about that when I made her, and so she's a little squishy for someone who wants to be wall.
I think also too,
the other two
when you made your fighter, I think you spent your money on like the big sword and a bunch of other stuff, so you couldn't afford the biggest armor. Now that we're higher level, we have some money.
Now we have some spending money. Cash. We have these really
honey,
valuable roses that we're going to try and do something with. But yes, definitely upgrading Tony's armor is priority number one.
And speaking of money, make sure, so we've been about a week or so. So Lou, you do get your 30 gold pieces from your 2 current patrons at the start of the week. So that is good. Okay. So I guess starting things off, here you are, like you land at the chicken hut, which was in the mortal realm, basically, like where, you went into that point here. So here you are in the mortal realm. Where is the first place you all are going?
I say using Kit to open up a portal to Reynard's and just get that done and checked off.
Like Vanna White this motherfucking Rose, and then be like, okay, you didn't say you needed it.
Yeah,
bye.
So he's like, oh,
yeah,
wow, great. And as you all, you come back to his study and like meet up there to, Kit will kind of hop down off of whoever he's been like hanging out with and just start like like doing that little fox like chitter sitting on Reynard's desk. Oh, listen. Oh, well. It seems you all have been running into quite some amazing things. And I hope you don't take this personally, but Kit has requested to return home at this point. Kit has had quite enough excitement. Am I getting that right? Yes. So thank you for your time, but we will call that favor settled.
We also have the Gordon seed.
Yes. Yep, that was something that Aoife grabbed. So yeah, he will take that, and there's just like a wicked glint in his eyes before he like puts that in a little breast pocket.
Tell me, Gordon seemed none too pleased to hear the mention of your name. It seems that there may be quite a sordid tale between the two of you.
Well, I've certainly there's a foxtail or two between us. But
We've got wine and time.
now, you know the deal. If I'm going to be revealing secrets, I'll need something in return.
Ugh.
Good enough.
You're no fun.
Well,
No.
you know my MO.
Well,
Those in power need to be taken down a peg. Let's just say Gordon had quite the run of things for a while.
Yeah. I mean, we did kind of get that vibe when we visited that village, so makes sense.
Indeed.
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, that was it. It was just indeed the confirmation.
Indeed.
And I was gonna say, Aoife is still in her sleeping court
Oh,
vassal
yes.
form, and she hasn't figured out how to transform out of that yet. It hasn't really occurred to her. Is there any expression or hint from Reynard about seeing the change? That kind of change there.
That's a good question. Do you want to make me an insight check?
Hell yeah.
Do that. I think he's probably trying
All right,
to...
we've got a +7.
Not obviously.
+7.
A 7? Just a 7?
Interesting. I love it.
Oh,
No, I have a +7, so I got a total of 14.
Yeah, so you... If he does have an opinion about it, he is playing it very close to the vest. So he's either not surprised somehow by this, or he doesn't care.
Here's nonplussed.
Yes.
Got it.
Which
All
is
right.
a little odd because you are
Very
quite.
cool.
Do you want to just one more time give us the general description of why you look different now? Rainbow hair to your butt and such.
Oh yeah, so because when Lou was taken captive into Jada's constructed dream prison, while Tony went off to go and pluck these roses, Aoife decided to go and try and find the means in order to help Lou get out of whatever was keeping her trapped in a sleeping state. And after she had taken some dust and meditated and sought out Felix's presence, he came to her and said that I can grant you the power to be able to interrupt this dream state, but in exchange you have to become a vassal of the sleeping court. And Aoife recalling all of the times where she had felt power and agency, and which was dealing with the Fae, she decided to take on this deal in exchange for power. And so as a side effect of that, becoming now a full-fledged Fae, she is a little bit taller and she looks more mature, and she has these sharp, angular features, and all of her clothes are this kind of dreamy, hazy blues and pinks and lilacs, and her hair like reaches almost down to the floor, and her horns have an extra layer of curl to them as she just appears so saturated and vibrant.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's a look. And I know, Tony, you had like a very brief chance to like hear about that, but that probably you might still have some questions or discussions about that whole thing. Just floating that out, by the way. Rook obviously wasn't stoked.
Work with Mad.
More than anything,
Yeah,
she seemed...
Tony. Also, she's always had her prejudices with the Fae, so she's like, "What did you
Well, more
do?"
than anything, too, I think the last reaction from Rook was just like that, just, okay. Like, and that just, like, horrible sadness. Like, that point when, like, a parent is like, I don't even know what to say to you right now. I'm just, like, heartbroken.
The resigned
Yeah.
disappointment.
So, Rook hasn't exactly said much to you, since that, so that's a whole unresolved emotional ball of whatever. But yeah, and so Reynard as well will mention that the only outstanding favor is, of course, arranging that meeting now between the family and Briar, his wayward child, running around Chiasiana, apparently doing crimes and in need of some teen help intervention. So that's that one thing. But we can safely assume that you've already communicated that, and like that is in the works. So we can call that resolved. And as you all are stepping sort of out of Reynard's domain, yeah, Tony, I think there's definitely a feeling that comes, like, more than just like an emotional, like there's a magical weight that is. Is that any like thing tangible, or what do you feel like when that tie is broken?
I think it's like the air feels a little less heavier to breathe in. Like, for a real life example, when you're in a really humid environment, you can feel how much
Yes.
moisture
You
you're
feel
taking
heavy,
in with
your
every
hair
breath,
and
and it's like almost
everything, yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
breathe in. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's kind of lifted. It's a little bit easier
Yeah,
to
the air
breathe.
is sweeter. It's clearer. You feel, lighter. Like after you get a really great haircut too, and you like chop off a lot of it, that like something changes. You can feel it, and this like dread that was kind of sitting on your chest that you just sort of learned to live with for the last month or two is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. You
Oh,
owe
nice.
nothing to no one. Let's see how long that goes.
I've learned.
You have learned a lot.
I know not to. I've learned so much.
So proud of you. Now it's just Lou and Aoife who are dealing with fuckery. Yes.
I'm almost out of here. And
You
then
mean
I
except
have
for
to
your
deal with,
dead girlfriend
an
being
undead
like,
fiancé.
in the perpetual clutches.
That
Yeah,
little
sure, that'll be
thing.
resolved. No worries. Almost out of here.
Yeah, almost done, baby.
Yeah, no worries. Jesus, Katie.
All right, so what's
Yeah.
next, gang?
What's next from there?
I feel like most of everything else that we need to do is in Chauciana, so I think that we skedaddle over there.
Remind me real quick, Chauciana, that's where your family is, right, Lou?
Mhm.
Perfect. That's where I want to get
Yeah.
my armor.
Yeah, obviously.
See if you can get a
Yeah,
sweet
obviously
deal.
a big, major city working with the family. I'm sure you can get a sweet discount, figure stuff out. You will also, your mom will send you a letter probably at some point just letting you know an update that actually Cassie is currently staying in Chauciana after you asked her to kind of look into what was going on with Cassie and like getting caught up. Apparently, Ms. Judge Cross is still pretty hard on Cassie's ass, like in that investigation after everything that went down in Phelan, and it was getting a little dodgy after that interview, let's say. So for the time being, Cassie and your mom thought that it would be in everyone's best interest if Cassie just kind of took a little sabbatical and spent some time in Chauciana, where your mom could actually like have more influence and make sure she doesn't, disappear in a black car in the middle of the night, right? Never to be heard from again.
Sure. Yeah, Lou is just filled with anxiety because, one, she never explicitly told Cassie that she was part of like a
No.
mafia of good guys.
Probably,
for
yeah.
one.
Hearing
For
from
two,
Frida was probably
He
a total
doesn't-
surprise for Cassie.
she doesn't know how much Cassie has told her mom about their relationship. And she's like, oh, this is someone who's not even officially my girlfriend yet. And she's
Yeah.
meeting my mom.
And the
who
whole
is
family. And
A
you're like,
lot. Blessed.
you're like, is she staying there too? Because your mom was not clear. Like, is she literally at your house? Like, you don't know.
Is she in my room when I used to share with my almost wife, who is now undead, and I don't even know if she knows about cat? I have a lot of like Lou is just like
Complicated.
in between every moment during travel, she's just like staring off into the distance since that letter came.
Yeah, that whole business. Yeah, so I think back in the chicken hut, while you're all in Cooper, it's a very short jump, to anywhere else in the mortal realm at this point. So you're going to be at Trasiana, in a couple hours. So if you do want to like take some time to rest, I assume like park for the night and like rest the hell up, like get your shit together. You've been dungeon crawling and exploring ancient ruins and basically just like went through Atlantis. So, I imagine some R&R is in order. Um, yeah. So during that, you have like kind of a night, I think, before, you all go back. So maybe this is the time. So are you like planting the rose you mentioned in like the greenhouse, cutting?
Yeah, get that started to grow. I also think that now that we have that add-on to our house, the same kind of arrangement to enclose the garlic but grow it there
Make
as
sure
well,
it's in a pot. It won't,
so that we
like,
have it for
fucking
the
grow.
road.
It won't you? Because this is even more like at least you got a warning from Garlic Princess about it. You don't know anything about the care and maintenance of these like Titan roses. Who knows what's gonna happen?
All you, Tony. Lou is definitely the person who's like, I can tell you all the things you need to do to be successful with plants, and then immediately kills them when she's actually
In theory, here is how you care for plant. I don't know why, Di.
I mean, I would probably ask the house to give me, yes, like a separate green room from like, or maybe, yeah, no, I don't think I would be able to do it in my room. A separate green room for the roses, especially because we got the little hint that they might overtake.
Well, that was the
wherever
garlic.
you
We don't
plant
know
them.
about the roses.
The garlic.
We don't know what the roses
Oh,
are
that
gonna
was
do.
Yeah. I think we added we specifically added a greenhouse onto Koopy that's like just for growing things too.
Okay, we'll have a raised box for the roses, and we'll propagate the two in there.
Yeah. So you
Should we? Well, we want to sell one of them.
So my
first,
whole thing
right?
was
Should we
you
propagate
can
the
probably
other?
go ahead and still like the blooms right now are still like very much intact. But since you did take the time to like take some of the roots and everything, that's really what you need to do the propagating or like some leaves. So I think you could have safely taken that material without actually damaging or needing to use the full bloom itself, because the bloom is if it is like other flowers, that bloom isn't gonna last, much longer, right? It's
Yeah.
dead.
True. Yeah. So then we'll do the leaf thing where you like kind of cut them open so that they're open into the soil. It's very moist. They're covered. Should I do some kind of roll
Why don't you go
for it
ahead
to
and
see how
just
successful?
give me that the herbalist tools roll. So basically, you're just gonna make that with probably want to use like wisdom, I think, on that. So roll a wisdom ability check with your proficiency bonus using your herbalist tools.
Oh, that was a natural
Holy
20.
shit! Okay, so then you're like, all right, cool. They're giant, but so far it seems like normal roses, right? You're like, okay, well, here it is. You get it all set up, like they go on the ground easy, no problems. You tent them, you give them the like, seems just like a normal
You look
rose,
good. You
right?
look
Like
moist.
if
I'm
there's
not
any of
gonna-
the wild magic stuff going on, you don't know it all works as you might expect. You kind of like hope for the
Beautiful.
best,
Very
just like any
excited
normal.
about this. She's gonna be in her flower era now
After that, we're in our flower, our bloom era. Hello, it's summer.
Yes.
We're ready, bloom, baby. Hell
Spring
yeah,
is
hell
coming.
yeah.
Oh,
no,
I guess it's
fall
summer.
is
That's
coming.
right. Never mind.
You reap what you sow, though, in fall, man. It's all good. Yeah. But it's good. Yeah, it goes in there and nothing wild happens. You don't damage the blooms, so you have these two hefty blooms. So again, you probably do want to sell those off, and Coven is probably going to be the easiest place to justify selling something like this. You're gonna get a lot of fucking questions if you try to sell these in the mortal realm anywhere. I'm sorry, what? Titan what? A mortal flower garden?
What's
huh?
a Titan?
It means it's a great fucking rose, and it's gonna.
It's huge. They're my giant rose.
It's huge.
So
It's gonna put all your other. It's gonna put all your like neighbors'
shame.
roses to
They're
shame.
huge.
That's
like,
what.
What's
Don't
the
you want to
argument?
shame your neighbors?
Yeah, right. But
Everybody does.
no fae would blink a fucking eye. Like, oh yeah, giant, huge, beautiful, perfect roses. Of course. Like, what are these, blossom court roses? Oh hell yeah! Like, So I was just saying, Katie, it'll be much easier to sell the roses themselves in Coven, without getting.
For sure.
Okay.
I heard everything.
Ooh, Bluetooth headphones. So cool, everyone, except for me.
I'm a fancy bitch.
Oh, wow. All right, guys. Yeah. Okay, so that is how you're spending, some of that long rest. Aoife, Lou, is there anything you guys specifically wanted to cover in that rest before we go? Anything you want to catch up on? Discuss, do, organize, bake?
Yeah, I assume with the letter that I got back from Mom, I got my cannoli recipe, so I'm going to make some cannolis.
Get that practice on.
There was one ingredient that your mom
for
didn't tell you, and she's like, I'm sorry, Loopy, I can't give you everything. Like, the one little secret. She's like, this is for you. You must fill this on to make them your own. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, she'll put orange zest in the
Maybe that was
cream.
I don't know.
And love. No.
I think Aoife spends the most of her evening kind of secluded in her room. I think this is the first time where she steps in front of a mirror and really looks at herself. And she doesn't feel regret, but she feels that panic that sets in of, what did I do? What does this mean?
It's like after you get bangs, you're like, wow. Yeah, no.
I'm stuck with this for months. Oh my god.
I hope I like this.
I wish it was as not serious as giving yourself shitty bangs.
Oh my god.
So that weight of her decision begins to sort of press in on her, and she just thinks of Rook's face again after hearing her decision, and that kind of resigned disappointment. And she got the sense from Lou that, like, this is great, this is your decision, wouldn't have made that choice.
Lou wasn't exactly
happy for you
when you talked about it.
And Tony's very similar reaction of like, that's a fucking choice. I thought we were trying to not do that.
It's a choice.
And so I think she just spends her evening in her room, really taking in everything that it means, and I think she's trying to will herself back to her small adolescent form again.
Yeah. So after you propagate these like roses, where do you go for the, like, where are you hanging out for the rest of the night?
Probably for a while in her own room, thinking about everything that's happened. One, enjoying the small victory. This big weight.
It's a huge victory.
Favor.
That's not small. That's you are out of debt to your enemy.
Thank you. It's a huge victory.
You celebrate.
It's
man, yeah.
It's a big ass victory. She'll relax, take some time to herself, mostly in her room, bathe, wash, sing, play her guitar, the small things she enjoys. And then go out, and I think she does still have things that she wants to talk to Aoife about those decisions.
Yeah. And then, so, yeah, you're hanging out doing your own thing for a while. And then, Lou, you're just, like, in the kitchen for a while, right? Kind of making food. So you'll see at some point, maybe, like, halfway through, while Tony's still in her room, Rook will just, like, come downstairs and kind of throw herself down, like, on a chair. So, like, close to the kitchen door. And, like, every time you get up, every 10 minutes or so, you see Rook is kind of inching, like, closer. like a chair closer to you. And then she's like, kind of comes into the kitchen, is like hovering around, like looking for a drink for a really long time. Sort of just like being around while you're like doing your thing.
Uh, Lou just kind of like first is just kind of giving side eye, like what is she doing? And then there's like a moment where she realizes like, holy shit, Rook wants
Yeah,
to talk to me
and
about
you're like,
something.
oh god, she's being so obvious about it. Like this is a human who have never tried to do this before, and never tried to talk to you before about anything.
Yeah, for real. So she eventually like well, Rook is looking through for like a drink. She reaches above her head and she grabs what she knows is her favorite mead and she just kind of like gestures towards the chair and pours her a glass and she's like, "Something on your mind?"
Uh, um, oh, thanks. I guess I'll have a drink.
Yeah, keep me company.
Uh, so, how are you doing?
Oh, she like has to stifle a laugh for a second. She's like, "Well, I've been better, but I'm happy that, you know, we got rid of that debt for Tony, but I can't say I was having any personal fun while you guys were gone. Um, actually, I did want to talk to you about that trip you went on with Tony, if you are open to talking. There's plenty of mead."
Uh, yeah, and she seems like, there's a little deer in the headlights, like, oh, you're asking me about me. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, what about it?
I just obviously we have had conflicting moments in how we handle things and I was kind of surprised to find out how much we seem to unfortunately have in common. And even now with, my dating and everything like that, with her being a Corellan, like I want you to know, like, I'm not ignoring your experiences. And I did ask my mom to look into her. I'm not trying to be foolish here with that. And I hope that you don't think that I don't value your opinion and your experience. And I just wanted to say that I know that with such similarities, we've really both taken different paths on how we handle all the pain and heartbreak that comes with what's happened to us. And I wanted to say that while I don't match your approaches, I don't think that you're wrong in how you handle things. I think that it's just different. And that's something that I am really trying to respect and get used to on my end.
And she's, mostly just kind of nodding sort of quietly in the chair, for a bit, and, takes a while to sort of gather her thoughts. I, um, I realize after spending time with people that I'm not the easiest person to spend time with. I'm finally, learning that I haven't been around people a lot, and so I don't feel that you're doing anything wrong. I think, you've been mortal a long time, and if there's anyone who I should be looking to and being more like, it's more like you. I've decided. So, I think that you're doing good, and you have been hurting much longer than I have, so maybe I should stop being such a dick about it. So that's what I've decided. And I'm sorry that happened to you. I know a little of what it's like to lose someone to forces that you can't control. And that's terrifying. And I'm sorry.
Well, we can both be sorry together. And she pours herself a glass of mead too, and she like looks like she's thinking for a second, and she reaches out and puts her hand on top of Rook's, and she's like, for what it's worth, we haven't known each other for that long, and if you want to look up to me after all we've been through together in such a short time, you risked your life for us. I'm happy to play the role of big sister if you want to follow along.
I don't really know what that means to really have, family like that. But that seems nice.
It is. I know that I'm mortal, and it seems like that's something that's normal for me too, to have family, but before I came to the surface, I didn't have that. And it will change your whole world, and it make life, even in the shittiest times, worth living, if not for yourself, for your family as a whole.
I think that's why I wanted to be mortal in the first place. I think I had a little bit of that with her.
Well, one thing that I learned after I lost Jada is that while it's so good to love so wholly, you can't ever let somebody become everything, because
They die.
life sucks. People leave, whether it's intentional or not, and you need more people to back you up than just one person. More reasons to smile. So, welcome to the family.
Thanks. What do you think about this thing with Aoife?
I hate it. But people are going to make the choices that they make. You can only be there to help them clean up
Tony,
the
you
mess.
have a finger up. Do you want to kind of come in? Yeah, for sure.
I think Tony is
Yeah,
starting
when
to
did
hear
you?
the
Yeah, and it's
conversation
totally up to you. I
happening
think.
outside. Aoife's
Yeah, I think
name
Rook is like totally
is
vulnerable,
what-
so you could have heard as much of that as you want. Rook isn't paying any fucking attention, so.
No, I mean I don't think she was really eavesdropping, but like Aoife's been on her mind, so she's like, "Oh, they're also discussing Aoife. I want to hear this. I want to know what they think." So she'll just kind of stumble out of her room. She was thinking about talking to Aoife too, but I mean, Tony can come across hot and heavy sometimes, so she's gonna stumble in, see what the group temperature is, and be like, "Oh, we're talking about Aoife. How are we feeling about
I think
Aoife?
that's exactly what Rook wanted to do. Instead of just talking to you or talking to Aoife, she's like, Lou seems like the most mature and reasonable person. I need to hear what Lou thinks before I just pop off.
Oh yeah,
Uh, Lou, seeing Tony come in, grabs another glass and pours more mead and passes it over.
Yep. Good. Great.
Um, I mean, what is there to say? We don't want to become more entangled with any kinds of deals and obligations that come with that. But who am I to tell her what to do? She's an adult. We all
Is she
make. She is. She's somebody.
16?
I don't know if it's because you guys weren't with us when we were in Phelan, but this is a complex individual who thinks about her future and everyone around her at all times. And to be frank, I hate that I feel like I'm the cause of what happened, but if Eva hadn't come for me, I don't know where I'd be or what would be happening right now. She made a really hard decision.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. I don't think it was in any way premeditated. It was,
For sure. And I
yeah.
can't tell you in all honesty anything right now that I would have come up with to fix the situation. I think that as much as I hate it, it was fucking smart. And that's the kind of person she is. She finds a solution and then she follows it, sometimes with reckless abandon, but it's all with good faith to take
Well,
care of people
we
around
don't
her.
really know what else happened. I wasn't there. I don't know what you went through. I still haven't really heard a lot about what you saw, but
It,
I'm really curious about what Aoife went through to get to that point. Why did she feel that was the solution? Was there really no other way? I don't know. I'm not familiar with I've only just started dealing with fae magic and bonds and things like that uh, granted she probably knows more than I do. But
I,
I want to know what brought her here.
Well,
And I don't think we know
I
that yet. I don't think I
I
know
think the
enough to really
court did.
understand it.
Listen, I mean, we can stand around and say it was Aoife's choice and whatnot, but how long has she been talking to this dragon thing?
well, I remember her bringing it up, and I was like, all right, crazy pants at the time, because I don't know shit about dreaming, and quite frankly, I never want to do it again. But
This guy, this thing,
that
it's been in her head for how we can't ignore that they wanted her, and that's how they work. That's how all the Fae work. They make you feel like it's your choice and that it's a good idea, but it's never really. And I don't know fucking anything about the Sovereign Courts or the Sovereign Fae. I wasn't a Sovereign Fae. No one I knew was a court. So this could be completely fucked, and I'm out of my depth here, and I don't know how to help or not, but I am scared.
I think that's a perfectly valid feeling.
Do you
And
know really what it means to be a vassal? I don't even think I
I
know what that
I
means.
I don't. The courts always, kept to themselves and stuff. Other Fae only came in when they were in the way or they were needed, right? I lived most of my life never knowing much about them or anything, but now it seems like they're everywhere and they all want things. And if Hecate is part of a sovereign court, and she's the big example we have here, I don't think we can feel good about any of them.
I don't think we have a choice but to pick which ones seem like the best option of all shitty ones. Uh, at this point, with the amount of power that we've had a hand in giving Hecate, we need allies. And what we have
We don't know
support from.
if what Aoife's doing means that they're an ally at all.
Oh,
It could
no,
mean
for
that
sure. I'm just saying that we can't write off all fake courts. We have to work with them in some capacity.
Yeah, well, okay, sure. I agree with that. I think I'm still just stuck on what this means for Aoife. I think I'm gonna go talk to her.
Probably should. Someone. I don't feel like I'm in a place to say anything about it at this point since she literally saved my ass. So all I can do is respond when shit hits the fan, as it seems to do a lot.
Yeah. Rook says, me too. Like, what she said.
All right. I mean, am I gonna do this alone? Does anyone interested in joining, making it a group conversation?
I offer
no,
you a
intervention.
cannoli of support. And she pushes across 2 cannolis on a plate
Rook.
and gives you if you eat the cannoli, you might feel inspired going into this conversation.
Rook is like, well, if
Okay.
you need someone, like, I'll go, but I think I'm probably in. I mean, I gave up everything to not be one of them, and she
Well,
just
I guess
changed everything. She just sacrificed everything I wanted in a second to be one of them. So I'm a little biased.
yeah,
May
that's fair. I'm sure, there's yeah, I get that. You may not want to hear the reasons anyway. But I don't know. I just figured in case anyone wanted to make it a little, no one has to repeat themselves. We just kind of get it all out in the open for everyone to hear at once. But sure, I can go. I have no problem going alone. I just
I
figured
think
I'd
she wants us
offer.
both to go, Lou.
Okay. Refills, everyone. Pours more mead and also another glass, and then also like balances just the tray of spare cannolis that she didn't pack up on another arm, and she's like, let's
Oh,
go.
question for you, Aoife, as well. Because you have Sawan now. Is there a place that Sawan lives in your room now? Does she have like a place of honor? Or is she just kind of in your bag? Or just like this like sentient flute?
Just stuffed in the bag. No,
Do
no.
you have a case, a little
So,
case where she
on
sleeps, or like?
So on her on her drafting table where she does all of her drawing, I imagine there is like a little wooden stand that she places Sue on top of. And yeah, I imagine they kind of just idly like talk to each other because like Aoife's kind of one of those people who will just speak her thoughts aloud, and then now she has someone to talk to.
And also because Sawan can like speak out loud or be telepathic, it's nice. Like it's almost like someone on the radio who's kind of like talking to you, but not really. Like that kind of like it's non-interference when she chimes or chatters in as she's getting more used to, more attuned to your mind. I don't think Lou. I think maybe you saw the flute, but I don't think it's talked to anyone. I don't think anyone's met Sawan other than Aoife yet.
Yeah.
I know of a flute, but I have not
This
spoken
like
to it.
living being.
Yeah, Lou has seen it, but no one else
Yeah.
has heard
I
her.
just wanted to make that clear before we walk into this room.
All right, so some gentle steps towards Aoife's room. You come with me if you want.
We're all
Again,
coming
no
with
pressure.
You all wanted us
We're all
to come
coming
with you.
with.
We're all coming
All right.
with you.
I'm also afraid that if you two go,
Sure.
it's going to be
We
loud.
won't say anything. I promise.
Some gentle knocks on Aoife's door. Hey, Aoife, are you up for a little chat right now? Don't want to disturb you if not.
Aoife is sitting at her drafting table, and she's got these, big square sheets of paper that she's been doing, like the pastel, like charcoals with. And you hear from the other side of the door, "I'd come in," and you see her sitting at a stool in front of her drafting table, and she looks over her shoulder and
All
sees
of
the group of you
in
all
the
kind of
door.
like, with that expression that you can't help but have that says, "This is a serious conversation," face, and like the hi.
But we brought honey wine.
But there's booze. We're all already a little bit tipsy, so it's a little less serious.
And with kind of a carefree hand gesture, she waves you all into the room and motions at her bed. And you see, kind of scattered around the floor and across her table, you see these visions from Lou would immediately recognize, like, from her dreams, and like a quick sketch of the restaurant that we had stepped into as part of her dream restaurant, and just a lot of like vague abstract shapes and symbols and very kind of cloudy, hazy kind of, like abstractions of things, like something, very, very dreamlike.
We will set down everything at Aoife's desk and immediately walk over to the drawing of one of the scenes from the dreams and just flip it over so you can't see it.
And like after Lou flips it over, she kind of gets the hint. She'll scatter them all together in a pile and set them off to the side, and she'll say, "So I gather this is some kind of intervention to talk about this big decision that I made," and she'll swivel around to face all of you, and her hair is still these long, heavy locks that drape to the floor and kind of, form this almost cloak around her.
Well, in a way, yeah. I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it an intervention, but I do think we all have questions. But I don't want you to. This is. How do I say it? How are you doing, first of all? How do you feel about your decision?
I certainly welcome questions. I can't promise that I'll have the answers to everything because it's still so new to me. Like, am I stuck like this forever? Can I go back to how I previously looked? I mean, it's great and I love it and I feel so much more in myself than I've ever felt in my whole life, but I don't think everyone's going to be as receptive to it as you all have been. And she kind of swivels back on her chair to face her desk, and she picks up this flute, which is this bone white flute with these dark swirling blue veins that kind of weave through it. And she'll swirl back around and she'll say, "As a part of my accepting being a vassal and this power, I was granted this by the sleeping court," and she holds it very delicately and reverently in her hands. "It's a talking flute. Her name is Suan, and she's really lovely. We've become quite good friends."
And you would all hear telepathically in your minds a sing-songy female voice saying, "Hello. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I can see it's not 100% as cordial, but I'm happy to be here nonetheless. Thank you for inviting me into your home. It's nice."
Oh, I'm sorry. Half the time I don't even fucking know if I'm dreaming or not anymore. So this is your person.
No,
Wow.
I'm a flute.
Yep. You're a flute.
I'm not a person per se. I'm a flute.
Okay. She just stuffs the cannoli in her mouth so she doesn't have to talk anymore.
It's a very common mistake. I think even Aoife, you called me a person. Just when we met, so Don't feel bad about that. But
Mm.
no, I am a flute. I'm not a fae, and I'm not a person transformed into a flute. That's also one I get a lot. I am a flute.
Mm. A pleasure.
Pleasure. Yes.
So, and Aoife will place her back onto the mount, and will say, "One of the Nesca brought her to me, and from what I've learned about her, she's kind of an artifact from not unlike a magical sense necessarily, like, whatever, but in the other sense of like a leftover image, I guess you could say, of when an archfey fell in love with an eldrin and their love couldn't continue, and so the eldrin never saw this archfey again, and the archfey cast all of her love and her wisdom and her devotion and her sorrow into different portions of the wilds, and one portion became Suan. And so, I think that really speaks to me, and I think that's part of why she found me.
Yes, I have served many very special members of the sleeping court since then. Aoife is one such person.
Who decides who's special and what makes them that way, that you were sent to her? I mean, I know she's special, but she just signed up for y'all, as it were.
I suppose that's a good question. I suppose I just always go where I am needed. But if anyone had to choose, I suppose it would be the sleeping sovereign. I do serve the sleeping court, after all.
Okay. So, Eva, someone's got their eye on you.
And more to Tony's question of how I feel after having made such a choice. I feel a little bit panicked now because the weight of it is really sort of pressing in on me. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it for an instant. In a way, it feels almost as if it was the only choice I could have ever made. Like, and maybe I'm being manipulated. Maybe I'm being made to feel that. But deep down in my bones, I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, sailors came from the wilds, and we emigrated out and made a home in the Valley of Elanthanol, and maybe somewhere in my bloodline, hundreds of generations away, maybe I had someone who was involved in the sleeping court. But it's that kind of call that I feel.
Well, I have to say that's really reassuring to hear, actually. Um, I get the panic and all that stuff too, but I was surprised that you feel so comfortable in it too, with all the changes and whatever it means and however you're feeling right now. It's good that it feels right to you, but I can't lie, I'm still kind of freaked out about what it actually means. I don't know what a vassal is. Does that mean that you're a vessel? Like they can hear and see everything you hear and see? Are you like a foot soldier to them? You do whatever they ask of you? These are the things that I'm worried about. It is great that it feels good to you, but with what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, I'm just concerned about how much it involves them.
So, when I started on my search to figure out the solution in order to get Lou trapped out of whatever state she was in, I went back to the Midnight Quarter in Coven, where we had a run-in with bringing in a bounty who was a death dealer. And that was where the first time I had seen the Nuska, those little serpent guys who have been leaving marbles everywhere. And I figure, if they're harvesting the dust from these creatures, going back to them and figuring out some way that perhaps there's some way that can, that it could be reversed, or how she might have made it by using a bunch of them, or from a specific one, or so. I asked around for hours, and eventually I found a dealer, and I, with a handful of gold, made an exchange and decided to try it for myself. In dreams in the past, I had spoken to Felix, the dragon individual. I think I've told you all about. When we had right before we had the run-in with the giant who was from the Celestial Court. That was when I had my first dream of Felix. And I called out to him in my dust-induced sleep for guidance, for wisdom, and what he had said to me was that he couldn't affect Lou's dream because it was a constructed dream. It was, a thing that was made. It wasn't a natural dream that one experiences in sleep. But in accepting this power, he said that the dragon will come again and ask something of me, but not today. So I kind of imagine it's like a feudal society where, at the bottom rung, there are lords, and they have some command, but ultimately they serve a king, and they serve dukes and whatnot. So I don't know how much they can see or experience through my senses. I mean, I'm sure we're probably connected in dreams. I haven't slept since that day, so tonight will be an experiment, I suppose. But this was the solution I found.
Well, I guess that's fair. I wasn't there, so I don't really know what
But
you
at
had to
least
go
now
through.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. That's it. Go ahead.
But at least now we don't have to worry about getting unexpected visitors in our dreams anymore. I can be sure of that.
We kind of
I like that.
like it looked like she was just her normal like upright self, but in hearing that, you see her like relax a little bit. She just been like dreading trying to meditate again tonight. Not sure what would happen. Well, I don't mind the perks so far, personally. Um, and as I told you before, whatever happens, I'm with you. So hopefully, if this feels right to you, we can just celebrate that for now. And whatever may come, we'll deal with it then.
So as your Felix guy, Rook is like kind of just been standing this entire time, like in a corner, just like standing uncomfortably. Have you thought at all about like what you're going to like do though walking around in the Fae? Like you can't go into Coven. now. Have you thought about that, the whole no court or allegiance thing? Is that like even occurred to you, or the whole like, hey, walking into the Blossom Court, like you, what if that's an issue, right? I'm sure they just don't want other court people just like showing up, right? That was like a big deal when we talked to that other dude. So what's the plan there? Your dream daddy say anything about that?
Oh my god.
I'm not laughing as Lou.
Anifa says, and even from a few hours ago, she looks a little bit smaller, a little bit softer, a little bit more like her natural self. And she says, I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, well, I mean, I think we're gonna have to figure it out fast if we're supposed to be like making alliances and stuff. Like, I don't know how it all fucking works, but I do know that Faye can just see it. I remember that. Like, you could just tell, right? That's why, like, those Slytherin court fuckos, you know, hiding out in Coven, they always have some magic or some, like, shield or some shit. So I don't know what that is, but you gotta get some of that. Otherwise, we're fucked, right? Like, we're fucked. And she's looking around like, right, guys?
I I
well,
I don't think
I
you're
think
wrong. I just don't know anything about it. I don't.
well, it's as
I,
easy as not including Aoife in some of those outings,
We're
right? Like
not
it
going to
sucks,
invite
but
Aoife on the
if we can't,
diplomatic mission. Are you fucking serious? You think we can handle that?
sure, shit ain't gonna be me. I'll tell you
do you
what.
want to stay behind? You can if you don't think we can.
I just think it's gonna be a problem, us showing up and be like, "Hi, can we talk to you, member of court? We've got this other one here. No worries."
Well,
So
at
they
the very least, I mean, with Hecate probably has an alliance with a number of courts, and we're gonna have to scramble to get the rest on board. Any who we can come get to us. And the courts haven't been allied in God knows how long, if ever, in a substantial manner. And why not? And I'm and why not starting with this? I
It
mean, at the
could be
very
a benefit. It could be a benefit. Say we have a member of the sleeping court here who
Yeah,
could speak on our
yeah,
behalf,
but
try and get them to join
you're
us as
like
well.
a vassal. Like, do you have permission to say, "Yo, sleeping court"? I'm making an alliance on behalf of you. Haven't even met this king or whatever.
don't think anyone's met him for quite some time. I think the whole point is that he's missing.
then how did he pick you?
Yeah,
And she like looks at the flute and points her mead glass at the flute. She's like, how'd she get picked by this sovereign if nobody knows where he is? This is new information.
well, that's why I just said, and so one says in your mind, I said I supposed the sovereign wanted me to go, but like I said, like Aoife, I sense my purpose and know where I belong on instinct. I knew I had to come. I knew I was needed. And so I came.
Look, Rook, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying it's not a valid concern. I'm saying I'm working on it.
Wait, Rook, so I thought that you just weren't allowed to have altercations that were
Oh
about
no,
court fealties. You
Coven is
can't go in at
neutral,
all if
completely neutral. Anyone who is bound
how
to an allegiance can't enter. That's why there's no court activity there, right? Legally. That's why, like, that Slytherin court thing we busted up, that was all illegal. That's how they get in there. They sneak in, they find back doors, but there are no courts operating in Coven. It is a strictly neutral place.
well, could we maybe reach out to your friend Beasley. She was from the Forest Court, and she was
But they
there.
brought her in, right? The Slytherin
Maybe
court snuck those people in there and had them imprisoned. I'm not sure she would.
She wasn't imprisoned. She was waiting in line to go to an event.
Yeah. Okay.
I still think Aoife can help us from a distance. Maybe she doesn't have to be there for every meeting and discussion, but you can whip up a patch I could put onto my, armor somewhere and it'll give me a boost for something.
Well, why don't
right?
you just ask if this Felix guy is so fucking great and can just hand out powers? Tell him to give you something, right? Just whatever that Slytherin court is doing, their little goons can get into Coven, right? So get some of that.
Or just ask the court themselves. How can I still go around and...
Well, it seems like Felix is the only one we know other than this goddamn flute. You know any other sleeping court members just showing up? Apparently their king is gone.
And Aoife with
looks
a
over at
pointed look.
the flute, and she just goes, "So sorry."
She's like, "That's all right. I'm a flute. That's what I am."
And Aoife with a pointed look at Rook says, "As I said, I'm working on it." And you can see that, like, she's trying to hold her tongue and be polite. And we'll turn to Tony.
Tony's like, I know you.
Any other
I know you shouldn't
questions?
have brought me here. This is like Rook is looking at Tony after looking at that. She's like, I said I wasn't going to be able to help you. I don't know what you wanted.
Didn't ask you to come, but sure. No, I think that's all we really could know for now. You're still learning, we're still learning. We'll figure things out as it happens.
Of course,
I don't think it would hurt to ask. If I don't know how you contact the sleeping court, but I don't think it would hurt to ask how you might still go about things in particular parts of the world.
What about walking around in the mortal realm?
As-
What if
as
we
a vassal,
walk by
that
a
might-
Corellin on the street? People just don't. They just don't. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Okay,
well,
okay,
I think we're good.
Fine.
I
Okay.
think we know as much as Aoife knows. So
Okay.
as far as we're concerned, we got the answers we could get. Right? Okay, great. Aoife, thank you for doing what you did for Lou. We'll figure this out together.
Of course, and anything that I can share, I will share. Of course, I have no... I'm not trying to hide anything from you. That's why I told you all the first opportunity I got. I don't want this to be some horrible rift between us.
Yeah.
She looks at Rook. Kind of wistfully.
I don't know. I mean, you seem like yourself for now, but it's never just that with the Fae. It's this and then that and then it's something else. So I don't know.
That's people too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right.
Well,
We have a lot to think about and learn about. Let's all get some rest, okay?
Yep. Okay.
here is to fortune on our future endeavors, regardless of difficulties that may get in our way. And she raises her mead glass. Let's end on a positive note, everyone.
What a toast. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean,
Plancha.
dude we've never met versus Hecate, we're probably still looking better. If we're being quite fucking honest.
Close to positivity. Good job, Rook.
There, yeah. Good,
I did it.
good effort.
All right, everyone.
shoots it, whatever the fuck it
Mhm.
is, and I start like shoving Rook out the door.
Yeah, Rook will leave. Rook will leave, and then go like plop down in an armchair by the fireplace and pour out another glass of whatever.
Um, Lou goes and like gathers all the plates and the untouched cannolis, and she steps out of the door and then kind of like steps back in, and she's like, "Do you, Aoife, mind if I meditate in here tonight?"
Oh, sure.
Thanks. I just, what a world we live in to be afraid to close your eyes, am I right?
I feel that I myself, even though I know what I'm capable of, I'm still feeling a little reticent for what sleep holds for me.
Well, I'm not sure what I can do for you in your dreams, but if any shady shit happens in the waking world, I'll handle that while you sleep. I'm gonna go clean up, put my curlers in, and I'll be back. And last thing, can you not draw what you saw in Jada's dreams? It hurts to see.
Oh, I, sure. Do you want me to rip him up or something?
Um, no, just like just don't do it anymore. It's fine.
And in a gesture that doesn't, I don't know, it feels almost a little bit off character for Aoife. She goes to kind of like push Lou's hair back out from, out of her face behind her ear in this very, very sensual gesture as she has that glint of her fayness again. And she says, "Of course, anything to keep you safe, to keep you happy." And she'll throw all of her papers like in a binder, shove it under the bed.
Lou kind of like touches her hair where Aoife touched her, like looks all flustered, and she's like, "Weird, don't, don't."
She looks kind of confused and cocks her head, and it's like,
Just yeah, weird about my hair. So anyway, yeah, I'll be back in a bit. Thanks. And she will go off and do the dishes, put her curlers in, and comes in an embarrassing white nightgown and plops herself down in a chair and kind of watches over Aoife for a little bit before closing her eyes and focusing extremely hard on things she wants to see.
yeah, you see Aoife's little nighttime ritual of like journaling for about an hour. Although she leaves it purposely very vague or in kind of coded language now, with the very much the idea of Hecate kind of ever present in her mind. And we'll blow out the candle, go to sleep.
So Aoife, as a true fae, you no longer dream. And this is the great irony of the sleeping court, who dedicates their life to making mortals dream. And this probably occurs to you in some kind of whatever. So now, essentially, you go into a meditative state now, like elves do. That's like the best you kind of can do. But I will say you can always choose to cast the dream spell as part of going to sleep, because you can enjoy other people's dreams And something in you is like the sleeping court frequently does. There is some kind of enjoyment they get from being in others' dreams or facilitating them, you know, crafting good dreams for those who are favored or they think deserve them, or bringing nightmares to the unjust or those who really fucking need just to be tormented. So you can always choose to participate in someone else's dreams, but your dreams are forever lost to you as long as you hold this position. How does that... I think it probably takes a few hours, that hazy in and out, realizing that, but how does that affect Aoife? Do you have any opinions or feelings about that?
Yeah. At first, she thinks it's restlessness and that,
Something
like,
is just wrong, right?
that anxiety
It's a
that's
lot of
keeping
stuff,
her awake.
right? Like you're going through, right? Yeah.
But then as the hours go by and, you know, Lou is, you know, soft and deep in her meditative state, and as she's kind of seeing Lou, and that's when it really kind of dawns on her that that connection is gone. And especially because she was someone who loved sleep, loved sleeping late,
Love
loved
creative,
her
weird
like
dreams.
weird, vivid, and
It's something
bright
your
dreams.
I imagine your
and-
family was always really into talking about their dreams at like the breakfast table, right? All these arty types just loved that kind of thing and just like saw meaning. Like your grandma and grandpa always saw meaning. Everything had to interpret
Absolutely.
every dream, right?
Yeah, she's definitely got an aunt
Yeah.
whose like job
I
it
read
is to
dreams.
interpret
Yeah,
dreams
that's my
and
whole
like
life. Yeah.
and so they've always held this fascination for her. And as she realized that that's cut off from her, she feels this deep sorrow and realizing that that's gone. And as that kind of lays heavy on her like a weighted blanket. But then she begins to find a bit of comfort in that and realizing just how she stepped into Lou's dream. That still brings her closer to everyone in a whole other way. And so with that, she steps into her youngest sibling, her favorite sibling, Ashlyn, and visits her in her dream.
What is that? What is
And finds
Ashlyn
that wonderful comfort
dreaming
in
about? What do
family.
we see? And also, because Aoife, too, you can always choose as, you know, this dreamer, whether you are seen or not, right? As part of it. Like, is part of the dream spell as well. It's like whether you are just watching or if you want to be a presence, this is something you choose. Yeah.
And so she definitely chooses to be seen in her regular kind of natural looking self, not as her face self. And as she steps into Ashlyn's dream, it's all like unicorns and mythical creatures and like frolicking through bright open fields of flowers. And, you know, she will bring her favorite game that Ashlyn and her always played together. And they're sitting in this huge, vast flower field, you know, playing board games and giggling and laughing, and you know, it's like a slumber party, just like when they were younger, and felt carefree.
Yeah. And Ashlyn is just fucking loving it, you know, like absolutely no realization that this is an unusual dream in any way. She's just like, oh yeah, I win, and then the board like woo bursts into glitter, even though she was losing or whatever. Like it's her dream, right? So as long as you're willing to play along with it, all the fantastical, you know, you get to enjoy that, and that's wonderful. And I think something about it too occurs to you. It's almost like it's feeding you in some way, like it's sustaining you, and you think you're starting to understand maybe a little bit more about what this give and take is. Right. There's something about you that has fundamentally changed. You are a different creature that interacts with mortals' feelings in a different way. And as, you know, you spend some time in this dream, like, you know, you're enjoying it, you feel like an itching sense at the back of your mind. Like something else is trying to like pull your attention closer to you. What do you do about that?
And she makes this excuse to Ashlyn, like, all right, well, now that you've won the last round, I've got to go have breakfast with the badgers and the rabbits, and they're gonna tell me all about, just some like
wow, okay,
nonsense.
bye! Yeah, just skipping off into a field with like rainbows exploding out of her hands.
And she turns and she steps and she immediately beelines toward that itching drive.
Describe to me the door that leads you back to your house. There's something wrong nearby you. The dream of someone close. What is that door?
And I think as she kind of continues through this meadow and comes to two great oak trees where the branches reach out towards each other in loop and knot. And you see on one of the oak trees is a little carving of a chicken, and she taps on it.
Yeah, and this door swings open, and you find yourself back in... It's in Cooper, like you're in your room, and you realize, like, you're not quite awake. You're looking down at your body, realizing, like, am I tied to someone in the house? What's going on? But you feel like there is something trying to get in. There's something trying to get in that is not supposed to be here.
And from her pocket, she pulls out this comically large magnifying glass and begins looking around.
Yeah.
And in this like dream.
Yeah, and you're
logic.
looking around, you're kind of like drifting really fast, through the house, like seeing what is going on. And like against several of these like windows and sealed doors, like coming down the chimney, you see these like black and twisted tendrils, like that don't look right. They look sick, like as they're trying to creep through the doors, and somehow this is someone else trying to send false dreams into this house. That's what this is.
Mm.
What do you do?
And she summons that sense again of when we were underground and confronting the great worm, mother worm, of trying to propel back that sort of psychic invasion from the worm's cries. And she, summons this sort of force field that begins as this small sort of ball of energy that she holds in her hand. And as she's making the gesture to knit, you see the fibers like expand this ball out and grow it as she begins to just furiously knit, her hands moving so fast that you can't even see them, and grows it out and forces it over to as like a cozy.
Yeah, a cozy over Cooper. You're Cooper. Like, ooh, and you feel it like as you see that smoke, that curling weird mist, like it's pushed back and out in a way. And as you've like protected the house and it's starting to expand, again, that dream logic, you can see out the windows several of these Nuska being pushed back. But they're not normal. They're not healthy. They're sick and corrupted. And you can see this like pulsing red veins of something, maybe like a drug, something in them as they're being blown back by your magic. And they just fall and kind of rot to the ground as you have repelled them. And you feel safe. You've kept this place safe.
Intriguing.
Yeah. It feels shitty. I think you would feel like Sleeping Court, like the Nuska are like, they're the dream like deliverers. They're key to the Sleeping Court, and someone has poisoned them and twisted them. That sucks. There's a rage that comes from someone that probably isn't you, but you feel it. Like How dare they?
Like, would it be possible to sort of like catch one?
No, I think your magic, like, just obliterates them as they're going. Like, they didn't stand a chance against real and true dream magic anymore. That's how hollow and, like,
Mm,
destroyed they were. There isn't even anything left for you to call them. You know that's something you can do now somehow, but it's like
right.
you can't even talk to them. It's like they're zombies, right?
Yeah, she'll lock that away for something to investigate in the future.
It's up to you, Aoife. Is there anything else you would like to do or visit? Or do you wake up?
I think with that, she wakes up.
And just real quick, Tony, was there anything you wanted to do just before we went to bed? Yeah. So you come to consciousness then, Aoife, in the morning, and you see Lou is, still sitting there. You haven't slept, technically, but you don't need to anymore. You're not mortal anymore. So you feel good. You feel fresh, like you rested. And everyone else can start to wake up. See, Rook is like cramped uncomfortably, clearly slept on the armchair downstairs. But no sign, Aoife, of what you saw before. Certainly, the windows are still sealed. Like, the chimney was closed, right? Like, you all, Cooper, did everything. That one time you were worried about those Nuska, and there's no physical sign anything tried to get in, but something tried to get in.
She definitely keeps that to herself.
Is there any way, maybe with like training, that you would know who that Nesca is going after?
I don't know. Aoife, maybe. After time, this is brand new. Who knows what... I mean, especially,
Yeah.
and Aoife's just a vassal. Who knows what she could learn if she became a courtier or sovereign.
Ooh, okay. Hi.
Someone sure sent them.
Well, good morning,
Yeah.
everybody. Tony comes in, tried to lighten the mood. Can't handle this pressure. She still wants to hold on to the victory of getting rid of a big old favor. So, Lou, what'd you cook up this morning? Tell us all about it. I love to hear you describe your own meals.
Tell me, Chef Lou.
Oh my. Yeah, and I think too, Lou is like very hard trying to focus on the positive. So specifically because Tony had that victory, she's just made like a meat mountain, like high protein, like exactly what she would like, just like completed in a bread bowl on Tony's plate with a little egg smile on it with a bacon strip. And she is like, "Good morning."
My God, Lou. I love you. I'm in love with you. This is stunning.
I'm popular lately. Don't worry about it. I'm just happy for you.
What? Well, this is beautiful. I cannot wait. Thank you. This is exactly what I needed. What can I do for you? I can't cook, but whatever else I can do, let me know. You've done so much.
There has been something that's been weighing pretty heavily on my mind that you could do for me.
Mm.
I think that what you do for us on the battlefield is so incredible, and just your pure strength is something to behold. But for the love of God, woman, will you please get better armor? You're scaring the
Goddamn
shit out
armor.
of me.
Heavy armor.
Yes, that's definitely something I can do. You're not wrong. Been thinking about it too. Yes, I'll do that as soon as we get into Josiana.
Rook,
Are we there? Have we got there?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you were kind of taking the rest, and then, it's like 30 minutes from where you are in the morning.
Okay.
So.
As soon as we get to Chasiana, that's number one. You're right. I know. I can't keep getting patches from Aoife and amazing breakfasts from you as much as I would still like those.
Yeah. Rook, in contrast, goes,
You got it.
coffee, and just, like, walks in and starts fucking wrecking around in all your business.
And Lou just kind of like takes her spoon and like kind of like lightly slaps her. She's like, I'm making your espresso shots. And meanwhile, she's like making pancakes that are just covered in honey, like super stacked tall for Aoife as a thank you breakfast for saving my fucking butt. And she just kind of like puts her hands on her hips once everybody is like served and at the table. And she's just like, this could fuel me forever, but I will have some pancakes too.
Aoife, another curiosity. While you are perfectly happy to eat, you are not hungry. You realize you have not felt a need or desire to eat or have water or anything in literally hours.
Weird. I think that's one that really surprises her. Because she's seen Coven and she's seen bars.
Right, like all over the place.
Like, and everything. And so she kind of just shrugs and enjoys.
Never tell Lou that.
Yeah.
Never tell her.
Oh, yeah, no. She's keeping all this shit under wraps for sure.
Ooh. They don't have to eat. They love eating, though. The experience of it, and drinking and alcohol and drugs. Like, they're just like, hell yeah, dude, something different. But they don't need to technically do any of that to survive.
They don't have hunger, but they have an appetite.
Exactly. They crave things. They don't eat them, though, but that's good. All right, cool. So, gang, where are we going? Josiana, who do what first? Lay it out for me. Order. I will say there are a couple things I've seen from you that might have consequences depending on when they happen. So, order is important. Who wants to do what scenes in what order?
Well, in that case, I feel like my easiest thing is for me to just get some armor.
Okay.
What could go wrong there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the one thing though with order is did we already sell the rose?
No,
When
we
we were-
decided
No.
Kevin was somewhere we're going to have to go to do that. So that might be something we have to do later.
Yeah, so because right now we only have like a little over 1.1K, and I'm not sure what kind of armor you
I
wanted.
think it was half on half
I-
plate, right? Was that the...
Yeah.
Nine
And
I think
that-
that we could still afford a half plate.
Yeah, so that'd be 750, and I don't think my carousing is going to cost that much.
Yeah, and I think if
Yeah,
you're buying
okay.
it in Chasiana too, I think it's safe to say you could probably get that for about 600 with your mama's discount and connections.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love your moms.
Yeah, first things first, we get to your mamas. We say, hello, how you doing? So good to see you. Missed you, thought about
Love it,
you.
love it.
Happy holidays. I don't know how much time.
I'm thinking while we're on the way into Chasiana, Aoife really wants to look for Whistler's Bell where they had buried it initially. So she'll ask to, drop me off there. I'll have a look around, see if I can find it, and I'll meet you back up at your mom's. Hopefully not empty-handed.
Oh, be careful, Aoife. You are Fae now. I don't even know if you can touch it. Are you sure you're going to be okay?
Good point.
It's fine. I'll figure it out.
Rook just
Lou, like,
one
internally
of
is
those
like...
things I brought up before I wanted to fucking talk about.
Lou internally is just like, it's fine, let people do their own things. You're not in control of everything that's not possibly in control of everything. And she just is like, okay, we'll drop you off.
Well, once we do get to Frida, right?
Mama.
Mhm.
Mama
Frida's
Frida.
place. I will say, Frida, the shield place you recommended was wonderful. Got a great shield. And now I'm in the market for some new armor. Where do you think I should go?
I'm just
to get it, a fair
We'll
price.
resolve that here, but I'm writing down my order of operations. Here is the plan. See, so one, we're dropping off Eva alone to pick up the bill.
What could go wrong?
Eva alone to pick up the bill. Okay. And then we're going to Frida's. So that will be Tony, Lou, and Rook going to Frida's. And then what next are you hoping to do?
I think Tony wanted to do a white
Shop
armor.
Yep, after visiting.
And then Lou probably during that time will catch up with Cassie and try to figure out how much she knows. How much anybody knows.
What did Mama tell you? She showed you the baby pictures, didn't she? Okay.
I do think I also, while I'm talking to Frida, want to see what she's found out about Briar, so that while we're here, since I can't do my patron thing, since it needs to be out of Coven, I can tail him and kind of see what this kid is all about.
Yep. Check up on Briar. Yep. Okay. And then we're thinking that after all that Chasiana business is resolved, or is there anything else there before we want to go back to Coven and try to sell the roses?
I think that was it.
So go back to Coven. Sell some roses. Okay. And then...
Gain a patron.
Gain a patron. Yep, Lou gain patron. Okay. And then also, by the way, we need to decide, because at the end of this time, you're going to be meeting whoever the Serena is sending. So where have you told the Serena you want to meet this person? Like, where are they going to meet you before you whisk them off to the Blossom Court to Mesne? Because no mortal knows how the fuck to do that, or where to go. You guys are, like, totally leading that ship.
I kind of feel like with all the heat that's on the Serena at the moment, we should probably not meet in Phelan because there's going to be a lot of eyes going in there. So probably having them meet somewhere low key.
Do you want to do where we originally met the Serena in the
but that's like right in Phelan.
That's like right outside.
It's like
still outside. Right.
Okay. We can do that. I just I'm nervous to be anywhere near there.
Yeah, because they can meet you, I mean, anywhere in the Eldrin Empire. You don't know how the Serena is getting this person there or where they're coming from, so...
We could have them meet in Chasiana because then we have, the family's eyes all over for any suspicious activity around them.
That makes sense.
Spend a lot of time here.
You do not know who it is. You assume that closer to it, you'll kind of get a physical description, sort of like what you did with Sarina when she was like, here's my personality of person to look out for. It's probably the best you're going to get. But as of yet, you have not been told. Okay, so meet them. So basically, you'll be bouncing back to Chasiana to meet them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. So I have dropping off Aoife to deal with picking up the bell. Meanwhile, Tony, Lou, Rook are going to Frida's. Tony's going to shop for armor. Lou's going to visit Cassie, check up on Briar. That'll probably take a day or two, and then you're all going to go back to Coven, sell off some roses, get a patron. That'll take a few days, and then you're going to meet back up in Chasiana with whoever this mystery person is. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. Well, that seems like a good plan. I'm looking forward to playing through it next time, but that's pretty much where we're at for the end of this episode. So, wow, guys, we've done it. We all met up. We all had some feelings. How we all doing? This was a big major change, so I'm glad we all got a chance to talk about it, because I feel like that would have been weird if we didn't. This dramatic life change. Literally a creature type. You're literally a different being.
You're literally touching my hair sensually.
I love it. I love that. I mean,
yeah.
was it
That
the
was a
Fae? Was
big
it
ol'
Aoife? Was it the new? I
change.
don't know. I'm confused and terrified and want to know more. Fucking fantastic. It's good.
What a maniacal laugh you just gave us.
Hell yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for stopping by for this episode. We are so excited to be back on track, back from our holiday break and like sending you that good content. So thank you all. Thank you all so much for joining us. Also, special thank you to all of you who joined us at PAX. This is the first episode we've recorded since we've been back. So it was really, really awesome to see all of you at PAX Unplugged. We loved it, filled our hearts with joy. I know I personally am like sustained by seeing you all and like just the goodness and positiveness of all of that. So thank you so much. We also, of course, have some other people we need to thank. We like to take some time at the end of each episode to thank our Patreon donors. Podcasts don't make any money. I don't know if you knew that. There is no actual income we get from doing this show. All of this time and effort, the people who reward us are our Patreon donors, the folks who go and donate as little as $1 a month to patreon.com/venturemaidens. You guys are the light of our lives, the reason we can go to PAX, the reason we can make books and do this stream. We've been going almost 7 years now because of all of you, you beautiful, wonderful humans. So we're going to take some time to thank, especially the Arnie's cohorts and Farrah's drinking mate, our two highest tiers. So I want to say a big ol' thank you so much to Debbie.
And thank you to Curry.
Always thank you to Muffin at the one on Drury Lane on Twitter or X.
Whatever. We all call it Twitter. It's fine.
Whatever it is now.
And thank you so much, Nissa McKinnon.
Thank you to Richie113 on our Discord.
And thank you to
Tony,
Tony.
thank you.
In our Farrah's drinking mate tier, thank you to Nadia.
Thank you so much, Markalai.
Thanks, Fable.
Thank you, Sheepish Gnome.
And what's up, Destiny? Thank
Thank
you so much.
Scott.
Thank you, Mrim.
Thank you, Noon from the Discord server.
And thank you to Brittany.
And thank you, Alan at Obsidian Citrix, our new cake master. Thank you so much.
And of course, thank you to Ben, aka Flower Crown Gaming, our wiki master.
You all rock our lives. Thank you so much for being here. Can't wait to see what happens next time because boy, did we pick the one thing going first that was really time sensitive and I love it. So we'll see you. We'll see you all next time. But until then, I have been your dungeon master, Celeste Conowitch.
Hello, I'm Katie, and I played Luveri Sath, your drow rogue.
Hey, I'm Nassim. I played your half-orc fighter and druid, Tony Silvertail.
And I'm Sage, and I have been Aoife Flannery, your vexing vassal of the sleeping court.
Ooh, now we've got a V. Good luck with synonyms for that. Yes. That's it. That's all we've got to you. So, until next time, everybody. Venture away!